In my previous video, I spoke about the dangers of AI replacing your actual friends and why that might actually happen. I spoke about things like how AI is such a stable friend, they're never having a bad day, they're able to know everything about you and predict your actions and so on. And what I wanted to get out of that video is basically to explain why eventually AI might replace your friends, or at least not entirely, but it might replace them in very important things. Things like having a connection or seeking them when you need help or support and so on. Basically replacing them in the areas where the giver is usually a bit annoyed or the receiver might not be satisfied. Now, I'm not obviously talking about all friends and I'm not talking about all people, but I do think that that is a problem that we will start seeing. But on top of that, there's actually something that I want to discuss even more. And I'm really almost certain that that will happen. But I wanted to discuss it now before it happens, just so that we can actually start going wild with our predictions. Now, I'm not sure if you've been following up, but with Apple releasing the Vision Pro 2 and all the different companies releasing their headsets or their Vision Pros or their virtual reality headsets, and with AI becoming super good at replicating things and communicating and so on, there's a very clear image that I'm starting to receive, and I think it will really come to our lives maybe just in the next 10-15 years. Now, if you've seen the Vision Pro demonstrations, and I'll put a video here somewhere so you can also see it, you'll realize that they're now able to scan your face. And so when you're on a phone call or on a FaceTime with someone else, the person is looking at a virtual 3D image of you or a 3D video of you. Now, it replicates your replicates your facial expressions, and it replicates how you look and even sometimes your outfit. And so if you're smiling, if you're frowning, if you're upset, whatever, it will reflect that on FaceTime. So it's not actually showing your image, it's showing a digitally made image or video of you in real time based on how you're acting. And something else that Apple is releasing, and I'm focusing on Apple just because they have the best ecosystem, so things will be a bit refined at the early stages. But Apple now, or the promise at least, is that at some point Siri will be able to access your messages, your emails, all the stuff you do, and based on that create a personality so that it can always reply to you when you're asking it questions, like ChatGPT but on steroids, because it will be able to have access to everything you do basically on your day-to-day, whether it's your calendars, whether it's your messages, people you talk to, and so on. Now, at this stage, all of this stuff is set up to assist you communicating with people that do exist. But my question is, if we're starting to reach a stage where we're able to replicate the physical appearance of someone and store that somewhere so that FaceTimes can work, and we're also starting to reach that stage where we can where AI can access your messages and emails and create basically portfolio of you so that you can interact with people, or so that it can reply on your behalf to people based on how you would reply. What is actually stopping us from being able to use those two things, and obviously later on when the technology gets even better, to replicate you for things that you don't want to do? And in this video I want to discuss two things: how that will be like from the person giving, so me replicating myself, and from the person receiving that replicated version of me. So let's start with the first one, which is me, my perspective, the person who will create all of this and give it to other people. Now, there are so many people that I love, there's so many people that I enjoy hanging out with, but there's also a lot of things or a lot of networking that gets done out of obligation. So networking, whether I'm going to an event and I don't actually want to be there, or I'm going to attending a meeting and I don't want to be there. And obviously this at the beginning will be more virtual than physical, so let's focus on that. So there's a lot of meetings that I want to go to, that I don't want to go to, but I have to. That can be meetings with clients, it can be meetings with people at work, it can be anything really where I need to be interacting with someone else. And at the moment, we're actually sort of doing what I'm about to say in a bad way. So we replicated interactions with customer service with forms, for example, where we can provide them with a form and they have to fill it up rather than me meeting in person and having to request that information. We've digitalized it by sending surveys or by sending automatic emails that, based on what the customer is asking, the email automatically gets sent and gives them information and also receives information. We've also replicated that in the industry for a really long time. There is so many chatbots that you pre-configure with questions and it will reply to with questions and answers, and it will reply to customers based on what it thinks the customer wants with answers. Now, yes, at the moment that doesn't work that well, and it also doesn't have your personality. It's just a chatbot replying. But my question is, at some point, we will be able to replicate this really well. I'll be able to give the way I reply to emails, the way I answer, my physical digital look, and we will be able to use that to interact with people. So if a customer wants to meet with me, and instead of me having to meet with them in person, I should be at some point be able to get them to meet with that digital version of myself. It already scanned my face for FaceTime. This already happens right now. It already has all my emails previously, all the quotes that I gave, all the price lists, any question that I can answer or that I have ever answered on email to any of my clients, it already has access to that. So why wouldn't I delegate that version to reply to new customers, for example? It'll be able to do everything I do. If not exactly the same, maybe probably better, because it can straight away fetch any email that I ever sent and give a very quick response, as opposed to me having to find it and then compare and then reply. So that is with work, and I don't think people will mind that much. I will be very interested to see how a customer would react, knowing that they're not actually dealing with me, but they're dealing with a digital version of me. And B, I don't know if they'll actually be able to tell if it's not me. So I was showing my wife the Vision Pro demonstration, and she actually couldn't tell for a second that FaceTime call, it wasn't the actual person, it was a digitally made version of that person. And I'm really wondering if that will ever be an issue. If people can't tell to begin with, is there an issue with that? Now, the second part is, I think it will even go beyond just business. So if a friend needs me and I'm not necessarily free, is there an issue with giving them a digital version that knows them so well because it already has all the messages and FaceTime and communication that we've done? Is there an issue that it would automatically reply and understand? And I really want to understand what you guys think, because I have automatic emails set up that when I'm on a holiday, it replies and lets people know that, hey, I'm busy, for example, and I'm here. I'm not actually the person replying, but the person still gets comforted knowing exactly what's going on. So if we take that to a next step where it doesn't have to say I'm busy, it can say, open a conversation and understand what's going on, I really wonder how that will be like. Now, for the receiver's end, for me, if I'm someone who is wanting to utilize that information for my advantage as a receiver, as someone who wants a friend or someone who wants a message, and my friends are busy, would there be an issue, obviously, with their approval and their consent if I can actually request a digital version if my friend is no longer free? So if I want to hang out with someone and they're no longer available, but their digital copy already has all their information, it has all the stuff that me and them talk about, it has our images, photos, memories, and so on, would it actually be equally comforting, or to some degree, it doesn't have to be equal, but would it be to some degree comforting for me to hang out or communicate with that digital person compared to their physical self? And it might not necessarily satisfy me feeling like I'm with them, but it might satisfy my feeling of nostalgia or me missing them. Think of any time you were missing someone and you decided to open a video of them that you've captured ages ago, or a photo that you've captured of them. And think of the emotions that gave you. Maybe it did comfort you and it made you feel like you're with them. Or maybe you were missing them and now you miss them less because you've seen them in a photo or a video and you remembered how you were feeling then. So why not take a step further and even be able to interact with that photo or with that video and speak and ask, how did you think about that day, or how did you feel about that day? And AI, carrying that personality, would then reply to you. I think for me, that would, and it can actually give me some comfort. Now, especially for someone who overthinks, if that person uploaded their digital copy and filled it and gave them access to emails, messages, and so on, and I need some reassurance about a particular moment. What if I want to ask, hey, why do you sound so rude? Or hey, why are you not replying to me? Or why are you not calling me enough? Well, the AI will have access to reasons as to why it did that. And it might be a quick way for me to get reassurance by quickly fetching the last time this happened, and it replies to me and says, no, I'm not upset, I'm not this is how I'm feeling. So I do see a value of that. I also see the danger that we might start liking that digital version more than the actual physical version, but I really do see the value of it. And so my question for the video is basically, Does it actually matter most of the time if we are able to automate a lot of responses from our friends? And with the help of AI, if we can get responses and communication with it, would it feel any different? What I know for a fact is that the receiver, if they do not know that it's automatic, it will feel exactly the same. And I've tested this myself. There's so many times where I would schedule a message and I would schedule it based on time or based when I arrive. Up until very recently, when I would arrive to work, my phone would automatically send a message to my wife letting her know that I arrived to work, for example. She loved it. She loved that I was including her. She loved that I was updating her. She loved that I kept keeping her in the loop and that I would update her without her having to ask me. But that wasn't on purpose. It was just a very automatic message that would get sent out, letting her know, hey babe, just arrived in the office. Love you heaps. We'll talk to you soon. But that message still meant exactly the same to her, even though it was automatic. And I guess you can say that I put effort setting it up, but if I even take it an extra step and put more effort to make it even more dynamic, letting it know when I arrived, if I had coffee or not, based on me tapping my phone, hey, I had a conversation with this person, and it gets sent automatically based on who I'm interacting with, I think she would still love it. In fact, she would love it even more, because I don't necessarily enjoy updating it for no reason. And so can we get AI to do those tasks that we don't like, the social tasks, and still have that same connection with our partners or our friends? And does it even matter to begin with if it's not the same? That is the stuff that I've been thinking about. And you can see a pattern between the previous videos and these videos. But I'm really interested to see what you guys think about and whether or not you can see this prediction actually coming to life. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next episode.